Hello again, and today I'm going to go through 10 things that can really help our anxiety, including stress and depression. And these are things that we recommend in the clinic and we have done for the last 10 years for thousands of clients, and they prove to work again and again. They are very simple, so don't dismiss them because sometimes the simple things are the most powerful. And tip number one is drinking plenty of water. Now, we do know there are parts of the brain that when we become dehydrated, it makes us much more susceptible to anxiety attacks and panic attacks. And there's lots of things that can dehydrate us, such as coffee and alcohol. So we need to be drinking 2 to 3 liters of clean water every day to help us to hydrate the body and feel an awful lot better. If we're exercising or the weather's warm, we might need to top that up. But do remember, with coffee and alcohol, you drink one and you pee out two. It's a really clever trick, but we need to make sure we do that. And the other things to take into account when it comes to water is avoid anything that's fizzy or avoiding anything that's got artificial sweeteners, e-numbers, preservatives, because these also can have quite an effect on our mental health. So just ensure you're drinking 2 to 3 liters of water and try this for 2 weeks. Don't believe me, and just notice the difference in your mood and your mental health. Number two is walking or exercise. Now, a big tip is if you wake up and your anxiety is worse in the morning, that's the time you want to get up and walk that off. And usually 20-25 minutes is more than enough to bring those cortisol levels down, which pushes up our anxiety and our stress. Now, for best results, we need to try and get out at least every day or do some sort of exercise, which is just for 20 or 30 minutes at a time. And that could be cleaning the house a bit more vigorously. It could be dancing to some favorite music. It might be you want to go to the gym or to a class. But regular exercise makes such a difference in our mental health and also from motivation. I know when we feel anxious, we don't want to do it, but when we get out and do something, we then feel motivated. Number three is ego therapy or forest bathing. I love how psychologists start adding in extra words to things or giving them new names. But we do know that when we get out to nice places and we enjoy nature, we relax down and we calm really nicely. And it's a good idea to get out on a regular basis to somewhere beautiful. It might be the park, it might be the beach or the woods, and to give that a go. And to give you a personal story, a couple of weeks ago, we arranged a family day out, and it was a bit of fun trying to get everybody organized, make sure they had everything. And there was a few squabbles and arguments on the way there. But when we got there and we disconnected from the internet and these devices, and we started to get out and notice nature, I could see the whole family relax down, and then the laughter and the fun came. And it's so important to do this at least a couple of times a week. But those psychologists are telling there's more involved. That when we see the blues and the greens, it lifts our mood. They're now saying that the trees and the plants are creating lots of chemicals that make us feel better. But then also at the same time, we're walking and improving that dopamine. So getting out for a good walk in nature a couple of times a week is one of the best things you can do. Tip number four for improving anxiety is listen, read, or watch something inspiring. I know we like to watch all the rubbish on the TV, but if we listen to something positive, maybe we listen to a podcast or an inspirational movie or video, it just gives us a little bit of belief that we can change what's going on in the world. And I know when I had my anxiety problems, I listened to a couple of mentors who were really good. They had energy in the voices. They made me realize I could do things. And that motivation, that inspiration makes us feel an awful lot better. So take time every day to just listen to something good or watch something motivational. And you can do that while you're walking or while you're in the gym as well. Number five, tip number five for improving anxiety is to do something creative. Now, this is really, really important. I'll give you a great example. My parents, as they got towards the end of their life, became a little bit bored. They had the same routine and they weren't doing anything creative. But then when my children went round and spent time with them and they were coloring in and drawing and building Lego and doing all this creative stuff, I could see both of them perk up. And the reason being is we then stimulate the neural network and we're doing something a little bit different. So it might be creating a journal, it might be doing some art, it might be joining a class, but doing something creative is very, very important. Number six, this is a big tip for anxiety, stress, and depression. And this is practicing gratitude. And lots of people roll their eyes when we talk about gratitude as it's some sort of woo woo thing. However, the science by the psychologists are telling us there's a part of the brain where anxiety and depression live, and it's the same part where gratitude lives. And the two can't survive together. So the idea is get up every day, maybe get a journal, and think of 4 or 5 things that you're grateful for. You could be going for a walk and noticing the beautiful things around you. But the key to this is not about the cars and the houses and the money. It's about the small things. So for me, it's the little gifts that I got for Father's Day. It's not necessarily the gifts, but it was the moment. It was the time with the kids or with family. It could be a birthday celebration. So start to look for the things that you're grateful for. And again, this massively improves the mood and changes that pattern. Anxiety is a negative pattern, but if we can get into a positive one, it makes such a difference. Number seven, the big tip for improving mental health is meditation or self-hypnosis. Now, the first thing is by taking a little bit of time investing in yourself, that will improve your mood. But when we start to focus on something positive, it works really nicely. Now, with anxiety and depression, I know some people struggle with meditation. And to improve that, we could either go for some guided meditation, or my best tip is self hypnosis. Now, self hypnosis is something we teach to an awful lot of our clients, and it just means you can spend 5 or 10 minutes every day being attentive about the things that you want to improve or change, and then spending some time visualizing that you're doing that and noticing how the brain rewires to do that. So, self hypnosis, meditation is tip number seven. Number eight is changing your routine. I think we all know people who do the same things on the same days, eat the same meals, and watch the same TV programs, and then they bitch about it. But if we can start to experience something new, to try different foods, to try new hobbies and activities, we don't have to fall in love with them. But the difference is when we try new things, again, we rewire the brain, we try new neural networks, and it's amazing how things change. And from that, by going out and experiencing new things, you'll find that you start to find things that you like. We've seen couples who were just sitting watching the telly together now going out every weekend doing archery or dancing or creative arty type things. So change your routine, find different walks, find new beaches, and just notice how that changes. Tip number nine is a big one, and this is improve your diet. Now, there's a big reason for this. Our bodies naturally produce serotonin and melatonin. And these are kind of anti-anxiety and anti-depression hormones. And they help with us feeling relaxed and help how we sleep. However, if there's any problems with your gut biome, your digestive system, if your candida levels are too high, if you have food intolerances, if your vitamins or minerals are out, or your hormones are not right, this can reduce or stop that melatonin and serotonin production. Now, as part of what we do in the clinic is we get our anxiety clients tested. We have something called the Optimum Health Test. And this allows us to see if the vitamins and minerals are right, what's going on with candida, what's the digestive system like, what's the gut biome like. And then what we do is we coach people to remove the foods that are causing a problem and replace them with a bigger range. Now, if you're doing this on your own, you want to start including an awful lot more foods into your diet. It's really important to start looking at 5 to 10 portions of fruit and veg a day. It gives you lots of vitamins and minerals, includes lots of energy along with it, and it really, really helps. But getting that test done is really useful. And finally, number 10, I heard this lately, help someone out. If in doubt, help someone out. And this just means that if we change the focus on us and about what's going on and our symptoms, and we start to focus on other people around us, guess what? It boosts that dopamine, it brings in serotonin and melatonin and helps us feel an awful lot better. And to do this, you could go and join a local group to improve the environment, maybe the park or the beach. It could be litter picking, it could be helping a charity where you volunteer, or it could just be just taking a moment to notice your neighbors, make sure they're all right, and just helping each other out. And it's really interesting how a lot of clients say that when they start getting involved in the community and making new friends, they start to focus on what's out there rather than what's on in here. So there's 10 tips to help improve anxiety, stress, depression. However, if you look in the description, what you'll find is we've got some free resources. We've got a free anxiety relief pack to help you to create that regular routine. There's a link there for an assessment call if you want to work with somebody like us and speed up your recovery and help get that anxiety sorted in 4 to 6 weeks. We do an assessment to see if we can help and see if you're suitable for what we do. We've also got a link to the Optimum Health Test. That's something you could do on your own. We just need a sample of hair and that just checks what's going on and see if we need to make any changes, because sometimes just one or two food intolerances can really cause anxiety, stress, and depression. I hope that's helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.